In this video, we'll use Explicit Unconnected Messaging to transfer data between two Productivity 3000s. When a Productivity 3000 is configured as a target, it can handle both the implicit adapter and explicit server messaging. In fact, it can do both at the same time. So if you've already watched the implicit adapter video, then you've already seen how to set up the Productivity 3000 as a server. See that video for details, but here's a quick recap. Under Setup, COM Adapter Config, select EtherNetIP adapter. Enable it and select the number of data blocks you need. We'll just use one in this example. We'll set it up as an input-only data block. Remember, that's input to the originator, which is this adapter's output. Let's create an array of 8 unsigned bytes. It will make all 8 bytes available to the client. That's it. Now these numbers over here are the key. When we did implicit messaging, all we cared about was this connection point. In this video, we're doing explicit messaging, so we'll need these class, instance, and attribute numbers to fill in the blanks on the client's explicit messaging instruction. Let's apply changes and send a copy of these tags to the data view. Transfer this to the controller, and our adapter is now ready and waiting for our client. So let's go set up that client. I have a second copy of the Productivity Suite software running, and it's connected to the client Productivity 3000. To set this guy up, we just click on Hardware Config, select the EtherNetIP tab, drag a generic client onto the screen, and fill in the blanks. We'll call this our P3000 client. We want to use this processor's Ethernet port, and this is the address of the adapter, that guy we just created a minute ago. I'll add some tags so we can monitor the connection and the status, and that's it. This stuff down here is only for connected messaging, so we don't need it in this example. Hit OK. We do want to define these tags, but with longer strings. Let's drop back into the client now that those tags have been defined and add those tags to the data view. Now we just add an explicit message instruction to send a request to the Productivity 3000 server or adapter. It's the same thing. We want to use the client we just created. This is unconnected messaging, which is our only choice since we haven't set up any connected clients in this example. And we want to get a single attribute, that 8-byte array that we created down on that adapter. Because we chose this assembly class getSingleAttribute, the software already knows we want to get from the assembly class this attribute. All we have to do is tell it what instance we want. Here's the adapter setup we did earlier in this video. Notice that the class and attribute are already lined up. All we need to do is tell the client that we want this instance, 101. If we had wanted the input data from a second data block or a second instance, we would have selected 103. We need a place to put that 8-byte result, so we'll go ahead and create that. Yes, we want to define this new tag, and we want to get all 8 bytes. We'll use the structure feature here, so we only have to type in one tag to monitor the status of the connection, and we're done. So all we did was set up the client under Hardware Config, and then issue a request to the adapter using this explicit message instruction. Let's hit OK. Yes, we want to define these tags, but with longer strings. And let's go back into that instruction now that the tags are defined and send a copy of all that to the data view. We'll need a control bit to enable this instruction and transfer the program to the controller. Let's bring up the data view for this client, and here's the results array where we're going to put the results from the adapter. Here's the adapter data view, and here's the array that we're monitoring from the client. If we change a number down here on the adapter and then execute the instruction on the client to go fetch that data, then we see that the message is complete and successful, and we got the data as expected. Easy. The data can change all at once down here on the adapter. The client won't see it until it explicitly asks for it when using this unconnected messaging. Now we haven't done much with troubleshooting in these videos, so let's intentionally put an error in here and see what happens, and more importantly, how to debug it. Let's go back to the client configuration and change the IP address. Now remember, this IP address was the IP address of the adapter that we want to talk to. I'm going to change it to the IP address of this client. So now the client's going to send a request to itself looking for the data that's down on the adapter. Let's see what happens. Transfer the project. OK, when we enable the message instruction, we see that the message is completed, but there was an error. And in particular, that error was a path destination error. In the Productivity Suite help file, topic 260 lists all the possible errors. And path destination error tells us that the client couldn't find a specific class, instance, and attribute it was looking for. We also notice that the client received the wrong adapter name. Our adapter name is this. Well, that's a real good clue that we're talking to the wrong device. We're not getting the data we want back, and we got the wrong name. So when you see an Ethernet IP related error message, check out Help Topic 260. It's a fantastic reference that'll usually zero right in on exactly what the issue is. And if you get stuck, contact Automation Direct's free, award-winning tech support right here just north of Atlanta, Georgia. They'll be happy to help you out. And use the forums. There are lots of folks there that love to share their years of experience. Performance plus value. That's productivity from Automation Direct.